Hello and welcome to my channel. Alright, I've got a bit of a whip and chat for you guys. A bit of a whip and chat for me, I suppose. Not. Anyway, I'm going to talk. You're going to do what you do. So grab your works in progress or sit with a coffee or whatever you want to do. Just chill. Alright, this week has been an interesting week for me. Let me grab a colour. I've put all my colours off to the side here that I think are in this area here. This is Who You Say I Am from Diamond Art Club. I am running a side project on that, so you probably haven't seen any of this work in progress yet. But I thought I'd do this. I wanted to do a whip and chat with something that I love doing. I have a couple of other projects and they are hard work, so I wanted something just for pleasure today. So you've got this one. It's around Who You Say I Am. It's big, it's rolled up, I don't know, 50 by 70, give or take a few centimeters. Alright, it may or may not be in the clearance section in Diamond Art Club page. Whether or not if I think of it, I will link it in the description and you can check it out there. But it's Mandy Manzano, Who You Say I Am, on Diamond Art Club site. So please go check that. That's a minor point. Alright, where am I up to? I think I did a little whip and chat for you during the week. I did a glasses case where I also worked up the glasses case because I needed them in my car. So you got a little bit then. I'm gonna stop working that direction because I'm gonna be getting stuck if I keep going. Alright, I have a lot on my mind. I don't know if I'm going to get it all out. I don't know if I'm going to get it in any particular order, so buckle up and we'll see where we go. So start of the week for me, I've been having feeding difficulties with Sophie. She doesn't seem to like some of the food I want to give her, to the point where I'm getting frustrated and she's getting grumpy and it's a whole mess. So that hasn't been fun. To top that off, my mood has been so way off. It's been unreal, and if my husband chips in now, I'll probably not be too happy, but he can just listen and agree probably, because he's not necessarily at the brunt end, but he's certainly listening. What? He won't admit anything. Yeah, he's not necessarily the cause. I have some theories as to the cause. I could be wrong. I'm not airing grievances. What I am struggling with at the moment is whether or not the grumpiness is due just to dealing with pain. So for the last few months, I have had growing back pain, to the point where there's a few times during the week where I'm literally crying because it's just wearing me out. If any of you are anatomical, it's the trapezius muscle. If you're not anatomical, you have somebody's back and shoulders. So top of the shoulders are here, back is here. It's this V muscle from the tops of my shoulders down to the spine. That muscle there is just not copping a break. It's constantly switched on to the point where I'm sore all the time. And because of the work I do at my desk and my bad posture at my desk, it's exacerbating it. I'm moving offices as soon as I can. I have 2 weeks in which to move, and I think I will try and get some time and move sooner, because I need to change what's going on. I didn't have this problem when I was in one of my other offices. I have this problem, I think, in my current area because I've got a little box of an office and my computer monitor is in this corner, but the door is here. It's always open because, you know, who wants to work in a shoebox with the door closed? And anyway, people come and knock on the door all the damn time. But the photocopier sits out here in the corridor. So everybody comes and, you know, congregates, and there's a bit of chit chat and stuff. So I'm sitting pointing here and then twisting to talk to here, and yeah, it's become an unworkable situation, to the point where I've called for workers' comp to help me. I've had an occupational therapist come in and she's gone, yeah, you're twisting, it's your posture. So I'm getting all these referrals to physios. I've been getting massage. I don't feel that massage is doing anything other than she's saying that my muscles are responding, and I'm kind of going, yeah, I'm still really, really sore. So what happens with me in the mornings is when I'm lying on my back, I'm not feeling the pain because maybe I'm leaning into the muscle, and you know when you put some pressure onto a sore muscle, it kind of alleviates it. That's why those rollers are really good if you've ever had to use rollers and stuff. So when I'm lying in bed and leaning onto the muscle, I'm fine. As soon as I sit up, and it might take maybe 5 minutes, so I've got up and I've kind of gone, oh, I'm not feeling any pain, and then I'm sitting down and putting socks on or something, and I was like, oh yeah, there it is. And it's just from first thing in the morning. Apparently this muscle is so tense, it's pulling this shoulder up. That's my left shoulder if you're not watching the screen. And I'm all twisted and out of sorts, and yeah. So I'm not a happy camper from that point of view. I have dealt with back pain before, but that's usually with my lower back, and this is completely different, and that's from weight bearing with you know, tools on hips and things like that, or being pregnant. My back got really sore with being pregnant, and again, that was my lower back. This is completely new for me. So yeah, would like it to stop, please. So one of the things when I was doing my Dr. Google, because I like to think I'm informed and, you know, try and make intelligent sort of decisions. So what I initially was doing, I was actually listening to a conversation in work one day, and one of the girls was talking about having tennis elbow, and I'd noticed her with the strap on her forearm before, and I kind of thought, yeah, you know, well, what caused that? And she was describing the pain, I think, and I kind of went, oh, that sounds a bit familiar. And I realized that because my elbow had been hurting right at the very, very tip. That's a classic tennis elbow pain. One of the other names that they call it is computer elbow, because it's caused by working on the computer with the mouse, blah blah blah. Well, what I had been doing on my stupid workplace situation, because I have files that I'm working on that are foolscap size, depth, and I'm trying to write and trying to, you know, control the mouse, and the mouse was out of my reach, so it was a long reach, and I was stretching my arms, which was causing tension. So went on Dr. Google and found out that the mouse might be a problem, and I went, oh, okay. So pulled the mouse in, got a riser to put the files on top of, so my keyboard is now right close to me, so I'm like this when I'm typing, and that got rid of the elbow pain straight away. And I put an early report in to say, hey, I'm getting this pain at work, and as we have to do, and left it at that. But I got assessed on my desk, and in the time that I put the early notice in to the time I actually had somebody come and look at me was something like a month and a half. It was way longer than it should have been for whatever reason. And this workplace chick comes along and she kind of goes, okay, your desk is all this and whatever. But in that space of time, my back had gone from niggly, I should kind of go and get a bit of a de-stress massage kind of thing, you know, just make me feel a bit better, when I was working in one of our phone companies, we used to have this lady who came around once a month and she'd give you a shoulder and neck massage. I was like, oh, it was awesome. 15 minutes at your desk. She'd come around with this contraption that she'd plonk on the desk, and you'd just lean in and have 15 minutes off the phones. And yeah, it was awesome. So I'm not unfamiliar with massage, and normally I do the relaxation, not remedial, because yeah, remedial hurts. So eventually I'm kind of going, no, this isn't right, okay, I'm booking in for a massage. And in the interim period, my back pain's getting worse, and I end up so I go for my first massage, and my massage therapist says, your back is twisting, it's pulling itself to compensate with the muscles and all of this kind of thing. And I said, okay, right, what do I need to do? And she recommended that I go see my GP, and went to the GP, and I said, what can I do? Can I take a muscle relaxant to try and fix this? And he didn't look at anything, didn't kind of tell me to stand up or lean over or do anything physically. He's just listening to me, and then at the end he says, oh, are you going to put this through as workers' comp? And I kind of thought, well, I guess so. So we start a workers' comp claim. So that in turn starts a whole different kettle of fish rolling down. So the OT is called in from the insurance company, and she comes and makes an assessment on my desk, and she's kind of going, yeah, you're twisting. And what I was doing was, apparently I was sitting at the desk, the screen was too far away from me, and I was twisting my head. And I'm kind of going, well, and she's looking at me as I'm trying to do normal work with somebody staring at me, which is really disconcerting. And I was really trying to show, this is exactly what I do when I'm working. Please help me figure out what I'm doing wrong. And she's going, yeah, you're doing this. And I'm kind of going, yeah, but I have to do that because I've got these stupid multifocals now because I'm old. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting to that. And with the multifocal, so you've got clear up here, but then there's these fuzzy bits on either side of the lenses, and then it comes into the read up close kind of bit down the bottom. And I thought, you know, look, I'm going blind. I can't see when I bring things up close to me. I'm looking under my glasses to read things, you know, what's sewing, threading needles, little close-up kind of thing. So if I'm looking at details here, I can kind of see it here with my reading glasses. But if I'm looking like here, I'll actually look under my glasses to see what I'm looking at, because this is, you know, that little bit, no, that's not quite right. I've had glasses for all my life. This is the first time I've had multifocals. I'm not sold on them. I don't know if I can go back to regular glasses. My prescription glasses for the car are regular glasses, and when I bring it up to here I can't read the damn thing, so I don't know. Maybe I need to get bifocals where it's just the funky little zone that, you know, you can spot a mile away in somebody's glasses. I don't know. I have to talk to the optometrist. So because it's fuzzy at the sides, I've lost my 20/20 peripheral vision. So instead of being able to glance to the side, it's fuzzy, so now I have to physically turn my head. So that's why she's saying I'm twisting my head, because I'm looking in the corner for the menu or something, and I'm twisting, turning, and constantly putting this cruddy old body to further decrepitude. So, but yeah, my husband's hearing me, and he's kind of going, I've got no cartilage between my backbones. Shut up, bitch. No, he's not saying that. He'd never call me that. Anyway. Not the cartilage, the juicy bits that should be giving cushioning. Anyway, he's stuffed. He's on tramadols and stuff. Anyway, said to my GP as well, is there anything I can take? And he goes, yeah, there's this and there's this and there's this and this. And husband dutifully pipes up, you're still breastfeeding. And I go, oh, I'm gonna swear. Fuck me! Because that means I can't take anything. Because it'll all get passed on to Sophie and turn her into a jellified mush of muscle relaxant. I don't bloody know. I've had a coffee this morning. I'm waiting. She'll probably react tomorrow. not sleep. Who the hell would know? Because she doesn't sleep anyway. Well, sorry, she doesn't go to bed to sleep. Anyway, so I've had one coffee. It's my Saturday coffee. She had me coffee free for months and months and months and months and months, and it's eventually getting to the stage where, you know what, child, damn you, I'm having a coffee. So now I kind of have a coffee on a Saturday, so we can kind of recover by the time Sunday comes around and she's back to her normal Sophie psycho self on Monday. Yeah. So she's all kinds of cute. She was cuddling up next to me last night. I don't know, 10:30. The lights were going out. I'm trying to rapidly finish my crochet project. I've got 4 stripes done on my crochet project. Okay, let's get back to the whole doctor thing. So yeah, I'm still feeding Sophie. I feed Sophie when I come home from work. She asks for a feed, and first thing in the morning, if she wakes up in time, she'll ask for a feed. So I'm still feeding her. So I can't take any meds. I can't even take Sinutab, pseudoephedrine, the good stuff. Don't take phenylephrine. It's rubbish. If you ever have a sinus pain, get pseudoephedrine, the one you have to hand over your license for. Anything else just don't work. So yeah, I am stuck without being able to take any fun meds that can give me any painkillers. So I'm on paracetamol, which is the higher dose. They call it osteo because it's for people with arthritis and those kind of longevity pains. So it's a higher dose, less often, so you take it 3 times a day. It's a slow release, yeah. And so I'm taking that with my vitamins in the morning, and I'm taking Nurofen, which is an anti-inflammatory, which is an over-the-counter anti-inflammatory. There's nothing else I can really take, and I'm having to just deal with it. So during the week, as I'm just dealing with it, one of the clerical staff comes to me and says, I've got all of these files, would you like me to put them into your name and bring them to you? And I'm going, oh, that would be so good. Yeah, I said to my massage therapist one morning, I actually didn't move off my desk from 8:15 until I think it was 11. And she's going, you're all kinds of bad. That's so bad. You've got to put a program on your computer that says, get the hell up and move. Yeah. So anyway, these files come into me and I start putting them onto the shelf, and next thing I know, the shelf goes and collapses under itself, and I'm going, what the fuck? Get over it. I'm going to swear on this, probably, because, you know, back pain and the other thing. So the shelf collapses. So I start stacking everything back up again. These are one of the shelves that are not permanently fixed in. They've got the movable little pegs under them. And yeah, I think the files were just so big. They were actually coming over the edge of the shelf that little bit too far and unbalancing the shelf. So it's kind of leaning over the end, and then it's causing it just to tip off and collapse. And there's 70-80 files, which is fairly normal for what I was going to be dealing with on whatever day I was going to be dealing with it on. So the shelf collapses and I start loading them back up again, and just as I get to a thing, it just goes and crashes and collapses again. 3 times this thing collapsed on me before I'm spreading the load and having to split it onto a different day. And I stand up and I've got my back to the door, and I don't know if anyone walked past. I probably don't care, but I cried. And it was just like, this is just too hard. I'm sitting on the floor trying to pick up these files, and yeah, it was just like, I'm a mess. I'm so sore and I'm not catching a break. And I don't want to let my colleagues down by taking time off, because taking time off at this point in treatment or recovery or investigation or whatever is just going to mean I'm sitting at home crafting, which is fine by me, but it's not doing any good for my back. It's not kind of saying, okay, you're taking time off, but this is what's going to happen. You're going to be going down, you're going to be doing hydrotherapy every damn day. You're going to be going to the physio every damn day. You're going to be doing these exercises, blah, 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 blah. and actually doing something proactive to keep me away from the computer, to rebuild my backup, and to then go back that little bit stronger, ready to work in a new position, whether it's a standing, sitting desk that I get, or whatever, different environment, different office that I'm going to be in. So I've got a different view, layout. I'll have the OT come and check me when I move in and say, okay, let's set this up in a healthy way. I'm not going to have the people at my door, because now we're moving down. I'm moving to what I'm calling the West Wing. My boss actually said it was the cool side. That's because his office is over there. It's also frigid cold, because the air conditioning just has you 3 degrees colder, and it's blowing like a hurricane in this particular office. Wind shits me to tears. I'm not sure how I'm going to go, but we have had an upgrade of our air conditioning system, so it may not be quite so bad. So we'll see how we go. If it does send me troppo, because blowing wind did send me troppo in one of the houses we lived in when I first moved to Australia. We had an air conditioning unit that sat over our heads. It's a wall mounted unit, very Australian. Yeah, I don't think you have anything like it over in the States. But you have these air conditioning units, and they basically blow wind in whatever temperature that you like them blowing in. So I had this thing positioned over my lounge room chair, and it would blow down on me. Now that comes down to me not knowing how the air conditioning units should work in Australia. We were brand new. Air conditioning units are not a thing in Ireland. So I suddenly realized after a period of time that I was getting furious, and it was down to the damn air conditioning blowing on me all the time, and it was the wind. And the wind does send me cranky in normal kind of terms, you know, and it's a weather thing. I used to get grumpy when the winds picked up in Ireland. I would, you know, your stress levels would rise. Shut up. My husband just said we should just write a list. Oh, of everything that makes me grumpy. Yeah. Or something. I don't know. He didn't volunteer what that list might be. Anyway, one of the things that has been a concern to me, and it's funny because I've been bringing it up more and more often, not because of me, but because of my stepdaughter who's 10. And I will joke that she's menopausal because she's jacket on, jacket off, shorts on, trousers on, and she's changing her clothes every which way, every 5 freaking minutes. She drives me bonkers. It's a kid thing. But the more I'm saying this menopausal thing, I'm kind of thinking, I'm 47. Oh fuck. I'm so screwed. No, not I'm screwed. My poor husband is screwed. In the normal realm of childbearing, etc. Okay, I started having kids. My eldest was born when I just turned 21. Sorry, my eldest was actually born when I was 18, 19. So my eldest in the family that I brought up, I was 21. And by the time I got all of my kids grown up, and leaving the house, okay, there was hiccups with that, but, you know, potentially when they were leaving the house, I was still going to be, you know, late 40s. Well, yeah, because my youngest daughter, after Sophie, she's now 20, so she would have been kind of starting to move out if the marriage and everything else had not collapsed in a raging heap. So she would be moving out, and I wouldn't have anyone at home except the husband, who, yeah, probably, let's not go there. Anyway, the whole menopause thing would have happened without teenagehood and everything else. So now I've got Sophie, I'm 47, and I've got a 10-year-old, and did have a 14-year-old in the house. Well, the rumours that you hear of menopause and the women going absolutely psycho and everything else scared the crap out of me. Now, I didn't have any elder females to share this with or experience this with. My 2 sisters are over in Ireland, and my 2 sisters, my first sibling is 11 years older than me, then my brother's 13, then my other sister's 15. So they're miles ahead of me. Apparently, when I asked them about the menopause, my sister said she was 52, and I think my other sister was about 50s when she started menopause. Now, that's menopause probably in the true term of the point of view of you don't bleed for a year. That doesn't take into account what's called perimenopause, which I think I'm dealing with, sort of. Now, the reason why I'm kind of putting these 2 and 2s together and coming up with stupid numbers is when we were trying to get pregnant with Sophie, and even afterwards, I'm fairly conscious of monthly cycles. So is my husband, God help him. And I already knew that on a certain day I got particularly, let's call it, tetchy. It was pretty much the day that you didn't really want to be confronting me.
Nice word for it.
Thank you, dear. It wasn't a day that you would be coming to me saying, hey, can you give me your opinion on this? Because the opinion I gave you on that particular day, you probably didn't want to know about. It was brutal by comparison to the rest of the time. And that was regularly, you know, as, you know, day 21 to day 22 kind of hormone thing. So I'm already aware of hormones doing their thing. Well, when we were getting pregnant with Sophie, not that we had any issues, but our OBGYN said, look, we can do this. And I went on a drug called letrozole, which all it does really is guarantee ovulation if you're still of an egg producing kind of age. Some women get different doses. So I was on the minimum dose. All it was doing pretty much was just making sure that I ovulated that month, as opposed to hit and miss, or what maybe wasn't going as fertile that needed to be, and all that kind of thing. So that was the only intervention we had getting Sophie. I know, lots of information that you probably don't want to know about. But if you are having difficulty getting pregnant and you're interested in this, this is stuff that's going to come up on Facebook groups and support groups and everything else with you trying to conceive. It was something that I came across in my Facebook groups when I was trying to conceive. Anyway, I was noticing that on day 2, of taking the letrozole, I was a weeping mess. And I'm kind of noticing this, and we were dealing with the preteen at the time, who she's reacting to her normal hormones starting to kick in, and we clashed big time. Now again, if I had been a mum of previous age, she would have been out and gone by this stage, so I wouldn't have been dealing with my crazy hormones and crazy teenage hormones, and that's the way it should be. No. So dealing with these crazy hormones, and I'm trying to get a bit of a handle on how all this is working for me and everything else. And top that off, for the last probably two years on and off, maybe a bit more hit and miss, I've been getting the hot flushes, and I'll sit there and I'll kind of go, okay, I'm getting a bit warm. Now, I'm not the kind of person who will kind of go, okay, I'm undressing, and, you know, sit there in a sweat bath and wait. So, sorry?
I get them too.
Marcus says he gets hot flushes too, because he's just hormonal too. Boys are hormonal, trust me. Probably even more so than girls, because they don't want to believe it. But anyway, that's beside the story. So I'm getting the hot flushes, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, look, am I all out of whack here? Went back to the OBGYN, had a bit of a chat with him, and he said, look, this is the story with menopause. He said you have about 4 years once you actually start menopause with the no periods. Now, I haven't got to that stage yet. When you have the no periods, where if you're going to go on hormone replacement therapy, you must go on it in this time. And I'm kind of going, why would I want to go on hormone replacement therapy? And he tells me why I should go on hormone replacement therapy. He's going about, look, have you got ovarian and breast cancer risks in your family? No, don't have any of that. Brain cancer, yes, but not the hormonal triggered cancers, no. And he goes, okay, well, when it comes to things like your bone density, blah blah blah, You need to be on the hormones, because otherwise you will get old, and you will get old freaking fast. You do not want that if you want to have a long life. And I said, so how am I supposed to know if I need to go on hormone replacement therapy or not? And he said, you'll know. And I'm telling you, this last month, I'm kind of going, holy shit, if this is what's in store for both me and Marcus, and potentially Sophie, because, you know, she's got to face the wrath of a menopausal mother. Fuck. It was just like, if what I was feeling is just hormonal, oh my god, it wasn't just put your seatbelts on. It was like, you know, the roller coaster rides where you've got the heavy, rigid seatbelt things and you can't move. It's one of those 5-point harness. It's not just a, you know, seatbelt on kind of thing. It's a kind of, you know, harness, lock in, we're in for a ride. And I'm kind of thinking, I can't do this. I can't do this. Let alone the flack from dealing with them. I have a really... Let me clean my glasses. I've got dirty glasses. I've got a really important question that I need to ask my son who's living with us at the moment. And if I had asked this question last week and he had given me the response that was, I don't know, bullshit, 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 and, you know, whatever, when I know the truth, I would... I've got numbers written on my glasses. Oh, I've always wondered how they know what lens you've got. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, if I had asked him that question last week and got that bullshit answer, I would have probably ripped the face off and kicked him out of the house and disowned him. So I didn't ask that question. So I'm having to check myself all the time, and with the back pain and everything else, I'm just freaking exhausted. So I don't know if it's just the back pain that's got me so on edge, or if it's the back pain and hormones, because it was normally the hormones just have me off for a week. These had me, I think, 3 or 4 days, and it was things, you know, some of it was domestic things, and some of it I'm kind of going, why the fuck shouldn't I be angry about this? You know, why can't I say this, and why can't it be why can't I have a problem with this? Because it's just not right. But how I was dealing with it was just, yeah, it was just over the top. I'm still seeing more peas. Dang it. So yeah, it's hard work keeping your mouth shut. Those of you who sit and take the crap will understand what I'm saying by that. Eventually you will get to overload and you will explode. I don't want to do that because it's not healthy. One thing that was pointed out to me, not necessarily in a, you know, bitchy way, it was, you know, let's have some insight on this and how you're reacting. And it was pointed out to me that my reaction to something was almost teenage-like. And I sent an email to Jennifer Roberts saying, hey, you were, because she was talking with Ashley in a interview thing that Ashley was doing. What the heck are you? I don't know what you are. And she was talking about how the brain, when it deals with trauma and all of this kind of thing, it's, so if you're going back, I think it's potentially it's 2 weeks ago. It was Ashley's first Social Sunday guest spot. So Jennifer Roberts, go and have a listen to that one. It's really, really good. Jennifer was talking about how she's, you know, a trauma counselor and how the brain reacts and things like that. And it absolutely fascinated me. So I shot Jen off an email and I'm kind of going, please, please, please help me get some understanding as to where I might be at because of the trauma I had growing up, where my brain might be stuck, and how do I unstick it? How do I get it to mature? Like, I knew when I was 20, 21 with, you know, young kids, really, I mean, newborn kids, and then, you know, young kids under 3 kind of thing. I knew I needed, and I did do a huge amount of growing up at that point. My husband at the time did not do that growing up, because he had had a traumatic background as well. He had been in an alcoholic's home, and it was an abusive alcoholic's home in his parents. His father used to beat him and his mother up. So he was growing up in a dysfunctional home. I felt I grew up because I was home all the time with the kids, or I was working and home, and yeah. And I felt I had to put away the whole, but I want me time, and I started sacrificing me time, and I started, you know, always doing things for the kids and food and whatever it was. So I would, you know, do these. They weren't fancy meals. They were just meals that took time. So the meal might take an hour or so to do, and it was always supposed to be on the table at a certain time. You know, blah blah blah. Now, I'm not going into the dysfunctions of the relationship. It was dysfunctional. There was narcissism there. That's probably as much as I'm going to say about that now. But it took me 20 odd years to cop the hell on with that one. So I felt I did an awful lot of growing up. As a young parent, I would have to, you know, do things with the kids. I'd play with the kids. Then I'm kind of thinking, but I want to do my stuff. No, I'd have to go read with the kids, or have to go to school, or whatever it was, doing the running around. And I'm kind of thinking, oh, fuck me. So there was one stage, though, that I remember driving down my driveway, and I'm crying out to God, and I'm going, why? What's the difference between a servant and a slave? I felt like a slave to husband and kids and everything else, and it was just like, it just felt this weight on me, and it was just, I was crying out in mental pain and heartache and everything else. And you know, buckled up, got on with things changed, my attitude changed, and you know, it was a little bit better from that point of view. But I did do a lot of growing up, but there were certain things that I didn't necessarily grow up in, and that would have been in the communication kind of realm, because as a little kid, I say little, probably pre-10, my siblings were teenagers, and I always felt like, you know, oh, it was always, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about kind of thing, and I was always put down and felt like I was never given a voice. And then when I did have a voice, I might say stupid things. Now, I was a smart kid. I used to have amazing recall and things like that for a lot of things. But there was a lot of things that I struggled with too. You know, I was a mine of useless information. I was great in a pub quiz of knowing these weird random facts, and you know, I was all over everything. I used to read things like Reader's Digest from a very, very young age. Dad had them around the house when I was growing up, so I'd churn through those. I'd churn through National Geographics and all of this kind of, you know, general knowledge, geography and world and all of this kind of stuff. So yeah, I felt like I was, you know, reasonably switched on. And the siblings were kind of going, oh, you know, you don't know anything, shut up, and, you know, go back to wherever and all that kind of thing. So I felt very unwanted by, you know, my perspective. So from that point of view, I didn't necessarily learn the best way to communicate, and I certainly didn't know how to fight, and my ex and I didn't know how to fight well. And yeah, we'd have arguments where we'd end up not talking to each other, and it got to the point where sometimes it was a day, and my dad had kind of given me the whole Bible thing, kind of saying, oh, never go to bed on an argument kind of thing. And I'm kind of going, yeah, screw that, you know, that's a load of bullshit, it's just too hard. well, there is some truth into the whole not going to bed on an argument, but what my husband and I now, what Marcus and I have done, is we have a rule. Contentious subjects don't get talked about after certain times. So we are not allowed to talk about the exes after 9 o'clock. So an hour before bed, that's it. Time's out. We're not allowed to talk about the exes. Just so we can de-stress if there has been a stressful conversation, or we're not getting to the point where we're so tired that the stress starts to build again. And, you know, we had just set these smart communication tools up. Now, some of that's got a bit lax. We've had some trickier subjects that do seem to spill out till later, and to our detriment. You know, we will have the argument and we will go to bed and we're both kind of simmering a bit, and, you know, he won't spoon me and I won't spoon him and that kind of thing. And, you know, I hate it. I've never had an argument with Marcus that I haven't been really upset by, whereas with the ex it was just like, fuck you, you asshole, and everything. Whereas if I have an argument with Marcus, I'm absolutely devastated. So from that point of view, it's probably a healthier thing, because I know I've upset him, and he, you know, and we both kind of come together and usually talk it through, and, you know, we hash out what the issues are. Now, granted, we trigger each other because we might behave like the exes, but we're trying to work through that we're not the exes, and that, so we're getting there. It is a communication journey, but yeah, there are still some sticking points that we've got because I haven't had communication skills, and to a certain extent he hasn't had good communication skills because he might have communicated with a person who wasn't responsive, and that led to unhealthy habits, and, you know, that takes time to break down and continue from there. So we're both learning, we both want to learn, we both want to not make the same mistakes that we made before, and that kind of thing. So there's the want for improvement, I think, there for both of us. We're not afraid to go and get counselling if we need to get somebody else's giving us input to say, okay, here's what she's saying and here's what he's saying, and can you understand what each other are saying, kind of thing. Because it comes down to that, what's the book? Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. That kind of speaking a different language, because, you know, he ate the last cookie out of the cookie tray, and therefore I'm devastated because, you know, he doesn't love me anymore because he didn't give me his last Rolo, kind of. Do you remember those from the 90s? Love was if you gave somebody your last Rolo. Rolo was a chocolate covered caramel centre. It was a big thing in England. You know, and it's like Sophie coming in trying to get food out of me, and I'm kind of going, I don't want to give you my last bite. It's my last bite. I'm looking forward to my last bite. That kind of, you know, thing. Anyway, so yeah, it's learning all of that. It's learning what's healthy, what's not healthy, and yeah, it's hard work trying to change and be malleable. Is that a good word to use? To be able to be molded into something that you hope is better. I hope it's better. You know, look, if I'm ever called to the office, I'm going, oh shit, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? Because whenever I was told, oh, it's time to go to the principal's office, or can I have a word with you? I was kind of like, oh, what have I done now? Not enough praise is given when those kind of things happen. Sherry's got a pretty good kind of package, the way she deals with stuff. She calls it the bullshit sandwich, or the shit sandwich, where you've got the positive, the shit, and the positive. So the positives reinforce the positive rather than the negative reinforcing everything. And good managers will kind of say, okay, you're shit in this, this, and this, but you're good at this, 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 and they'll build you up rather than completely strip you bare. It's not like the army. Good managers will pull out the gold and deal with the shit, and you know, there isn't enough of that in some workplaces because you're not necessarily taught good management skills. You're not necessarily taught good people skills. It's something that you've either got in you or you learn hard if you're not so teachable, or you learn easy because you're interested in something like that. You're interested in wanting to pull the gold out of people. And I've seen a few comments from people about management and, you know, good managers and bad managers, and you know, I've read stories that talk about the managers as well and stuff. And yeah, good managers get the best out of their people, and life might be hard for some staff members, but you don't have to rain shit down on them. And like my husband would be probably sitting in the sidelines kind of going, you do that with the teenagers, and I'm kind of going, shut up. So I'm very much aware that from a people management point of view, I don't necessarily do it right myself. I'm trying to learn. One of the things that happened when I had my major breakdown, I ended up in a medical ward, and the psych that got to speak to me there said, look at all of this where you were freaking out when you were not in control, and you're freaking out now because you're not in control. And it was like, you want to be in control. And I was like, who doesn't? But she at least made it make sense to me. And it's not so much about wanting to be in control. It's I would really like people to be autonomous and do their own bloody thing and look after their own shit. But when they don't, I feel like I have to be on their back all the time. And my husband is trying to teach me that I don't have to be on their back all the time. That sometimes shit needs to rain down on them because they aren't doing their thing. And consequences, and I'm kind of going, yeah, but consequences end up coming back on me, and we're trying to nut out this whole what's control and what's teaching and everything else. But at least, yeah, he calls it micromanaging. At least I've got somebody who's trying to get the best out of me so that I can be better, as opposed to telling me what to do or telling me to do it their way and not getting the best out of me as a result. So he keeps telling me he needs to be rewarded. I'm not quite sure what this person would be rewarded with. We haven't actually negotiated what a reward might be for this awesome person who is trying to make me a better person. Yeah. These are the conversations we have, guys.
Fantastic person. Sounds wonderful. When am I going to meet him?
I don't know when you're going to meet him. Is it a him? You're not going to get all emotional on me. It's true. Anyway. Yeah. So, back pain. Yeah. I've dealt with lower back pain. No, I've dealt with lower back pain before. I've pulled muscles. I was leaning into our car one day and I heard a pop in my back. I must have busted a disc or something. That put me in bed, not moving for a day, and then my attitude was, okay, you rest, do nothing for one day. This is for a strain, sprain, anything else. This is my theory. You rest, you do nothing for a day. You let that immediate angst die down, and then the next day you start exercising it again, and you start moving and that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's what I've got with this theory, and usually the pain then subsides and it starts to kind of get itself back together again. This one, no, I'm not copping a break at all, and it's exhausting. Thank God it's not my lower back. In a way, it's upper back. But yeah, it's like, oh man. And even conversations on Facebook, I'm having to bite my tongue and people are misinterpreting the words I have put down. I think one day I copied and pasted something and it was misunderstood what it was, and I ended up then taking a screenshot, and the response I got was, and I was like, I could really rip the face off you right now.
You're not making a lot of sense with these comments.
Oh, my husband says I'm not making a lot of sense. But it's the point where you could react badly out of something, or you can bite your tongue. And it was, yeah, I was having to bite my tongue and not overreact and try and see from other people's point of views, and yeah, but... And this is the other thing. I felt like I haven't made sense through all of this. It's too hard to get the brain to think and everything else. I know when I was having my mental breakdown, the brain just kind of stopped working. And the thought process is just... It was just like, no, nothing's computing anymore. And I think I'm getting to that point again. And it's like, oh, no, not liking this. But again, I can't take meds for it. All I can do is sit and wait for
There is a solution.
something to happen to change
Stop breastfeeding.
the pain. Yeah, Marcus has said the one thing I could do is to stop breastfeeding, but she's my last. I think the chances of me getting pregnant at 47 are pretty slim. And she's the one who's initiating this. My other kids all stopped at about 9 months. I'm amazed she's still going. She's 23 months now. I'm amazed she's still going. You know, nutritionally, I'm not sure she's getting much.
So what's the difference? Let me think. Oh, it's the father.
Nah, well, yes, it's a different father, but from what point of context is it different?
Maybe I'm just a mum's boy.
Oh, yes, definitely. He said he was just a mummy's boy. No, I felt like I'll just let the kids do their thing with the whole breastfeeding. I don't know that I did cut them off. I don't know. I will certainly say to Sophie after she's had a feed, and if she's still kind of, you know, wanting more, it's like, no, you've had more, you can have a snuggle now. So I encourage the snuggles, and then she'll kind of snuggle into my arm and, you know, just lie there sucking her fingers and, you know, waving Flopsy around, which is her bunny. So there's that kind of thing. So I encourage the snuggles even if she isn't having a feed. She doesn't get a feed just before bed or anything, so it's snuggle time. So, you know, she tucks in into my arm and, you know, we just snuggle up on the couch. And if I'm last night I was trying to crochet, trying to get to the end of my 4th strip, and she was kind of like, nope, you gotta move. I want to get this done. So yeah, big goal, getting the final strip. Sorry, it's not the final strip, it's the 4th strip finished on the blanket. I put a shout out on Facebook. This is how little I go on Facebook, I think, these days. I put a shout out on Facebook asking for anyone who's got any wool left over if they might want to give it to me. And I had a friend of mine who quite smartly said I can come and shear her sheep. Sorry, gonna have some cold tea. So she jokingly said I could come and shear her sheep, and it was like, yeah, cool. But nobody came and offered me wool, which is a little disappointing. I might go and check out some op shops or something and just grab wool stashes. There was a, I don't know if they call it floss tube when it's wool stuff. There was a video I watched, I've saved it because it was really, really cool. It was basically your typical granny square in the center, and this rug blanket thing was going to continue in a circle getting bigger and bigger in this square. And it just changed colours as you went through. And when she went from 8-ply wool to 4-ply, she just doubled up the wool. So you'd have a blend, you know, and it was just like, oh my god. And because I love crocheting much more than I thought I would, I kind of thought, yeah, I don't have a big stash of wool, so maybe I can take other people's stashes. And yeah, so that was my idea, and it seemed to just crash, so that didn't necessarily take off. But then in saying that, the people that are my friends probably wouldn't have that kind of a stash anyway. I need their parents and their grandparents. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got a grandmother figure. It's kind of gone by the by since my marriage broke up. I haven't seen or heard from them forever. Her husband was kind of failing fast. My husband Marcus has met them, but yeah, we don't move in the same church circles as we used to do, so I don't get to see them, so I don't catch up on the news. I wouldn't even know if they've died. My ex, yeah, I'm stopping there.
Poison.
Anyway, yeah, my friends, even though they're friends on Facebook, I don't think they're friends. I haven't got rid of them yet. I haven't got to the point where it's just like, you know what, I'm over. Not that they're two-faced on Facebook or anything else. It's more like I'm there to see when they get tagged on the ex's shit, because he's a Facebook slut. And he tags everyone and everything and every place he goes to. And I'm kind of thinking, I just want to be able to keep an eye on you because you're a psycho. So, yeah, that's the only reason why I potentially still have people as acquaintances. But I don't use Facebook ordinarily, and it's probably because I don't use Facebook that my post didn't come up on the Facebook algorithm, because you can't get your feed happening the way it used to do. With the latest info first, it would be down to, I don't know, popularity, wind direction, and I don't know how hot it might be outside. Who the freak would know how Facebook works anymore? It's like, I go onto my feed and I'll click on the feed and I'll scroll down for a bit, and then I'll go up the top and I'll start again, and I get a whole range of new stuff. And then the stuff that I don't want to see keeps on popping up, and it's like, oh my god. Yeah, it's really, really weird. It used to be really good when you could get most recent news or newsfeed as it happened, and Sarah would post at 2 p.m, you know, Sam would post at 2:30, and it would happen in that timeline, and it was just like, oh, I miss those days. That was way back though. Now it just seems to be, yeah, I don't know what order they do it in. Now, I don't think I'm going to go much further up into that swirl. Oops. Where did you go? There it is. I'm noticing a trend of people. Okay, there were some WiPnChats. Some people answered the call to do more WiPnChats. There was a spurt of WiPnChats, and then they've all kind of gone again. I was like, I miss the WiPnChat where you could just, you know, chill, listen. Seriously, is there only 1, 2 in this bit? Oh no, there's more over there. Okay. I think there's only one AB in this one. It's the 141, the white, which is the, oops, silver lining, as I call it. Oh yeah, one of the other things, when I did put on about the request for wool my massage therapist saw me make the comment, and she said, crochet, really? Oh my god, head down, shoulders not back. And she said it's a terrible posture. And I said, really? Don't be mean. You know, taking all the joy out of my life. And she said, okay, short periods at a time. And it was just like, okay, yes, Mom. So she had a bit of a snigger to that. I was like, oh man, find a hobby that I enjoy doing, and it's like, can't do that either. It's cruel. I was trying to do it leaning back on my armchair where I wasn't necessarily looking down. I probably was still looking down. I don't know. Yeah, absolutely amazed how much I've enjoyed doing the crochet. I think I'm potentially halfway through the project. I'll show you in a few minutes before I wrap this up. Not that you're really going to be able to tell, because I'm not going to be able to show it in one piece. I'll actually, what I'll do, I probably won't be listening back to all of this video, but I will try and note round about the hour mark to add a picture of my crochet blanket progress. I took a picture out on the deck this morning of the 4 panels. So yeah, really, really loving it. Now, this is Marissa's baby. Now, I don't know how much you're aware of Marissa McCartney. She is the crafty heifer. She is starting to do, I don't know if she's got one of those synonym kind of things happening, but on a Wednesday, it's she'll have a whip and chat with the crochet along, and she's probably going to continue this. It could be a regular, sorry, it's a Wednesday for me, it's Tuesday, I think Tuesday night for her. So Tuesday night Eastern Standard Time, give or take. Have a look at the at her channel, the Crafty Heifer, and basically it's a grateful kind of, you know, what happened during the week that you're thankful for. And yeah, I struggle with kind of, sometimes I struggle with being thankful for stuff, and I was certainly struggling last week because I was so sore. But she's doing this, and I think it's a really, really good thing to do in, you know, what are you grateful for this week? What's been good that's happened this week? And I guess unless you're really Scrooge and miserable, there is always some silver lining. So yeah, I think it's good practice. I do try and, you know, enjoy things. It's not always easy, especially as I say, if you've got pain issues. Sophie has certainly been an amazing joy for us. You know, crotchety old parents as we are. She's a thrill a minute. And Marcus sends me photos of shenanigans down at school, you know, out on the swings and things like that. And we've got this, he's been a Google fanboy, speaking Google foo for years and years. Anyway, like he took on some of the early projects, and you know, he would do testing and blah blah blah. Anyway, he's been around Google forever, and one of the things Google does in photos is, if on an Android camera you hold the camera capture down, it will take a burst of shots. Well, Google takes your burst of shots and animates your shots and turns them into these little mini videos that loop. So it turns it into a GIF, basically. If you're into the whole tech speak, it's a moving picture. It's Harry Potter newspapers. You know the newspapers in Harry Potter, and you've got the moving image? It does that. So it's really, really cool. So I'm getting these, you know, images, you know, that Google will tell me, oh, Marcus has shared to the album, or he will actually send me through an image that he wants me to see on Google Chat. So that's our talking program, and we'll have full conversations on this. And I don't know why Google Chat is anyway different from SMS or Messenger or anything else. It just feels, maybe it's just talking with him, I don't know. He's talked tech, computer speak forever. He'll abbreviate stuff and make it conversational. It's weird, but it's like we're having a conversation. And well, I don't think there's any miscommunication in our text speak. So yeah, it's really, really cool. So he'll shoot me through these messages on Google Hangouts chat. Hey Sophie. Hello. Oh, hello sweaty girl. Well, no, you're not waking up and getting that, but you can come and see it. Oh, look at that. Did you get along? No? See? Can you say hi? She's just woken up, so she's the sweaty hair and everything else. That's the wrong colour. Well, that was that one. So yeah, Google Chat, Google Hangouts is what it used to be. It's an awesome program. You can actually do video calls, and you can set up different rooms now in chat. So Marcus has a 3D printing room where he can put 3D projects and send them in there. And I've got rooms where, I don't know, I might have YouTube wishlisty kind of stuff or whatever it might be. And I can either have him in the room or I can not have him in the room, and I can have other people who've got Google Chat. We tried to initiate other people into it just because of how user-friendly it seems to be. Marcus is a Google Suite owner, manager, whatever, so we kind of get some extra functionality, I suppose. But yeah, it's really, really cool. I'm a Google adoptee. Sophie's first words at the age of 6 weeks was Google. She was sitting in Marcus's arms and he was blabbering away to her and she was chattering away, and he goes, "And who told you this?" And she goes, "Google." We got it on video. It was awesome. I think I actually sent it off to Google. I never got a response saying, "Hey, our daughter's first words were Google." It's kind of like, I think I sent it. I can't remember, or I might have tagged them or something. I don't know. I thought I had. You right? Do you want to get down and sit with Daddy? Cool off? I know. He might give you some chips. I think there's yogurt on the table. Go get some yogurt. Good girl. Oh, Sophie, come here. Come here. Come here. Come. No. I was going to get her to say bye-bye. You might not hear her if she's waving at me now. Anyway. Yeah, so I try and take all the pleasure I can out of this little lunatic that we've got, keeping us, well, not necessarily keeping us young. Oh, the other thing that happened during the last couple of weeks, I possibly because I was sore, possibly because I was just like, I'm too freaking tired, I didn't make lunches for myself. I normally make a Caesar salad lunch. Didn't make lunches, so I was eating takeaway for the week. Put on something like 2 kilos in a couple of weeks, and I was like, fuck you. And again, menopause, you put on weight because your metabolism is slowing down. And I'm not a gym junkie. I hate gym stuff. Marcus then also has the issue with his pain, and he also says he struggles with, you know, walking and doing things. So we don't walk as a regular kind of activity, and yeah, the whole lifestyle will need to be tweaked subtly enough. It doesn't have to be, you know, radical or anything, but I don't know how to work it all out, and it's, yeah, it's at that stage that I was getting to pre-Weight Watchers back in 1998 maybe. I did Weight Watchers for the first time, and it was at that kind of, I've got to do something, what am I going to do? And I'm nutting out, well, what am I going to do to make this sustainable? How am I going to do the subtle lifestyle change to make this something that can have long-term benefits? And it, you know, I was kind of thinking the other day, well, maybe I could walk part way home. So my husband comes and he picks me up every day and drops me off every day. So at the end of the day, maybe what I could do is walk to a place that's 15 minutes away. It's a mile, it's a couple of kilometre and a half or whatever. 15-minute walk is not that big of a deal, but having that on a regular basis might be something that I could potentially do. Now, if I do that, I need to change my bag back to a backpack rather than one shoulder, or turf all of the stuff out of my bag because I don't actually use it. It's typical girl's handbag. You never know when you're going to need it, so you carry it and you never use it anyway. It's that kind of crap. What's wrong, Sophie? What's the matter? What? What's wrong with your foot? I don't see anything. What's Daddy got? Go and have some Daddy's apple. Oh, okay. I can't get in, Sophie. I've tied it up too tight. We tweaked some stuff here this morning, and I made the mistake of tightening the cable. It's a lolly I got from Rachel. Bye bye. She knows where my stash is. No, you're done. You've got one. Sophie, go away. Tea, that was a sour one. And I've got a little bit of sour sugar at the back of my throat. It was a grape. I think it was the Haribo that Rachel sent me in that package to me. So yeah, very, very slowly enjoying them. Sophie wants to share them all the damn time because she knows where my stash is. Yeah. Alright, I have talked your ear off, okay, for the last little bit. So, look, to kind of wrap up, it's a bit like the semicolon thing. My story's not over. Yeah, I don't know if it's menopause. I don't know if it could be tested. I don't know if it's just the back pain and I'm exhausted, because as my massage therapist said, your body is just not getting the relaxation it needs at night, so I'm probably not sleeping as well as I should either, and it's not restorative and all that kind of thing. So I don't know if it's pain, I don't know if it's menopause, and look, I'm 47. It's a slippery slope to the menopause, and yeah, to some extent it scares the crap out of me as to where I might go. I've heard stories of women turning into, well, let's use a good Irish term, turning into a banshee. You know, the screaming fishwife, you know. My husband's nodding at me. Sorry?
Is this the beginning of the list? Yeah, that started.
He says I'm a banshee already. Okay, I'm stuffed. So yes, I'm back at the GP. Well, that's workers related, but anyway, I've got to go back to get him his meds, and I'll talk to our doctor then and say, get me the referral back to Stephen and let me see if this is an issue. Let me see if there's any testing that can be done to say, yeah, your hormones are actually starting to shift. I was told that bleeding patterns would change and everything else, but I don't want to get to the point where it's all based on the bleeding patterns changing. I want it to, I want to catch it, let's say, before I've killed someone, because I'm not liking the mood I'm in when I'm in it. And if I don't want to put up with it, I don't think anyone else should have to put up with it. Like, in my own head, I'm kind of going, I should just move out because I'm not livable with. You know, and yeah, if this potentially is 4 or 5 years, I'm going to be unhappy in my own skin, let alone anyone else who has to be around me. And it's like, guys don't have to put up with this stuff. How the hell do managers deal with it? You know, you've got these women who may or may not need time off work every month because of their periods, because they might have polycystic ovarian something or other, and their periods are hell on water. And you know, they're lying incapacitated in their beds, you know, because they haven't worked out what's a good way to actually deal with horrible periods yet. And you know, they've got to deal with girl hormones, and so it's not just workplace shit, it's, you know, you're dealing with hormonal people, and yeah. Sometimes I wonder how the hell managers do what they do with people in their team. And it's not just me, it's other people too. It's like, wow. Yeah. And I don't feel like I can ask my colleagues for advice. I feel it would be a bit rude to kind of say, hey, are you menopausal? When I don't actually know how old they are. Not because of their mood, but just because of how old I think they might be. You know, that kind of thing. But I don't think... There's one or two that are older. And I've gone to them and, you know, talked to them. But they haven't really given me advice or anything else. They've got their own shit to deal with. They'll listen, that's about it. And that's fine. But yeah, the whole proper advice and how to manage isn't there. We went to our GP and we said, I'm going to kill the teenager because of her mood swings. And he said, put her on the pill. And it was like, where the fuck was that when I was a teenager? Because I could have done with that to be able to level out my mood. So I know that the stuff out there, it's just whether or not I'm willing to do it. And hormone replacement therapy, somebody said, was completely different from the pill. You know, it's all stuff that I've got to kind of explore. Like even down to the glasses. Do I keep the same glasses? Do I go back? It's just making time to make the appointments. And at the moment, it's just all in the too hard basket. And not very much of it's getting done. So yeah, it's a bit of a slog at the moment. So yeah, what's happening in the next couple of weeks? I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. I'm off on Friday and Saturday because I'm working the following Sunday. And Friday is appointments. Possibly getting my nails done, getting a massage, seeing the physio for the very first time. And then the week after that, I'm seeing... Oh, I think my GP is in there somewhere. So maybe it's the GP, massage, and physio all on that Friday. I'm not sure when my nails are. But they must be coming up about now because they're getting a bit long. Then I'm seeing the workplace doctor. I've had the MRI done. I don't know what those results are, so I'm taking it that they didn't find any hot spots, cancer glowing in the dark or anything like that. It's just my back, which is awesome. It's always slightly terrifying having something like an MRI and then you find, oh shit, it's actually made you glow in the dark, and it's like, yeah, okay, thanks. That was a bit of a curveball. No. So I'm letting that paranoia die away slightly. So yeah, work is work, and moving the office. So yeah, I'll get trolleys involved, and if I need to, I'll employ some of the blokes to shove the bigger items, which is only like a coat locker. That is really going to be the awkward thing. I'm leaving bookshelves. I've got a massive bookshelf in the new space and a small bookshelf, so I might have to move little things around to make it so that I'm pivoting on my chair and in reachable distance of files. Bit like my workspace here. I like a fairly compact workspace. So yeah, I'll position things so I'm, you know, doing that kind of stuff. The other thing, of course, I could do is put it all out of my reach, which means I have to get up out of my chair and step. So I'll get some OT know-how on that one. Maybe that's a thing. So I'll have a bit of a think about that. So office moves. I probably won't be able to show any photos. It's an office, really. It's shelves, it's paperwork. You know, it's nothing fun. Yeah, that is what it is. So yeah, it's moving from one space into another. Same colleague, same job. I'll find out if taking a break is what I need. I'll find out if I can't do my role in any shape or form without doing computer work, and at the moment at a sitting desk it's not going to work. So yeah, I'm gonna either have to take time off or just keep going. If I could just keep going and have the pain-free stuff, that would be fine. So I just want to get to that point, really. Sophie, not now. Oh, look at the time. Alright. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. Well, I was going to keep going till maybe an hour and a half. But Sophie is kind of prompting, and if I think about it, I'll edit out a bit of a gripe that she was having off to the side. What? You're trying to get up. Okay, mind your toes. Turn. Turn. There you go. What? Yeah? What? These are T's. Look, T. 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 See? Where was the T? There's the T. T? Yep. I'll get you diamond painting next year. Yeah. Oh, I was watching a shot, there was a, you know, stupid little insert video on, I don't know, possibly Facebook, because I was watching some other one. Anyway, you can go down a rabbit hole of Facebook videos. But anyway, there was a 2-year-old from the UK. He was actually from Liverpool. His dad was a Scouser. And he knew brand names and all this kind of carry on. And it was all kinds of cute. But yeah, Ellen had him on the show and thought he was just the cutest thing ever. And it was kind of cool. We have had other kids who can go into a car parking lot and just kind of walk past every brand and go, Nissan, Ford, you know. All of these kind of, you know, brand names that they can rattle off. Because it's an image rather than a word. But apparently this kid can read too. This little 2-year-old. the first thing his mother said when she got on the show was, the one thing they noticed when he was born was his eyes were so far apart. And yeah, my middle boy was like that. His first thing out of his father's mouth was, his eyes are far apart. Well, it turned out to be a slightly genetic thing and had to do with the little lower jaw and the congenital heart and blah blah blah. And the cardiologist said, oh, it's all linked. I was like, okay, thanks for that. And my husband thought he was exaggerating when he said his eyes were too far apart. Go figure. He was the one that he wasn't there for the birth. And then he was told, he wasn't there for the beginning either. He didn't believe he was there for the beginning. It was like, not quite a fair standard, but yeah, he can't really deny him. He's too similar, I think, in a lot of ways. Sorry, kiddo. No, he is an awesome kid. He's the one who had the open heart surgery last year. He is phenomenal. He really is my hero, or one of my heroes. My husband being one of the other heroes. But yeah, this young man he's got an awesome, awesome spirit. I used to get very frustrated with him, and I'm not going to delve into this one because this is probably another talk for another day. I used to get very frustrated with him when he was a kid. It was almost like we weren't quite speaking the same language, but I think the problem actually was we were speaking the exact same language and we just didn't understand each other. It was really weird. Yeah, it's kind of like I get him and I get his awkwardness and everything else, and maybe everything he was doing used to just trigger me. Do not take them off. So, yeah, it used to bring out the worst. And I used to struggle with him then and kind of go, how do I get through to this kid? He would ask questions constantly, and yeah, he's just inquisitive mind. He's now a naval architect. Potentially getting a little bit bored and frustrated in some things. He does get bored and frustrated. He doesn't have time for crap. And he's blunt enough to say so in a lot of areas. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, he is. He's just like me. He's blunt enough to say, you know, you're being stupid. He probably doesn't say it to everyone he feels that to, which could be a problem. Yeah, probably doesn't say it to his father enough. He voices it in other ways, and his father ignores his subtleties. I'm trying to teach the kids to be less subtle with him, because the subtle doesn't work. And they just need to set boundaries. But it's very, very slow progress. People who are taken in by narcissists and controllers, yeah, it takes a lot to break free, and it took a lot for me to break free from this man. And I'm probably not there yet. And I'm sure if he was ever listening to my YouTube, that he would correct me, and try and set the matter straight. So, hey, look, I know this is a bit of a trendy thing lately. Mrs. Coffee's been doing this lately, but I think I first saw it by Sherry, and she was doing it for a particular reason, probably to see who was watching her videos. But there was a little bit more strategy involved, I think, in sharing, and it was like, hey, if you watch through to the end of my video, you know, drop in an emoji or something. What? But it does make sense to us. I know Rachel has said this as well. You know, she gets really deep and meaningful as she gets further and further into the videos, because you kind of get your angst out in the first bit, and then you kind of relax into it, and then you kind of go, you know what, now I'm just left with the people who really give a shit, and now I'm going to be really real. So yeah, I know I've got some people who will watch and some people who will comment, and I know I get the views. So, I don't know, do you want to pick an emoji? If you've got this far, let me know that you've got this far. I don't know, is there a lizard emoji? Find me a lizard. I don't know. It seems a little bit cliched. I know people don't like, I don't like being forced into doing things like that. It feels like, you know, church manipulation kind of hang-ups. Yeah. It's kind of like, can I get an amen? And that's not a dig at Mrs. Coffee, that's a dig at church. You know, can I get an amen? Can I get a praise the Lord? You know, you get preachers who kind of do that kind of thing, and I'm kind of thinking, you know what, if I feel it's worth it, I'll kind of give him the praise if it's so justified. But don't tell me what to do about praising God, please. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like, no, you're just going to annoy me now, preacher. Yeah. Anyway, hang-ups. All right. Yeah, so this I will be releasing, you'll be listening to this, I release it Wednesday morning. It's probably going to be Tuesday night, Tuesday evening maybe. I think the last lot I've released a little bit later. I don't know if the time suits for releases. I don't know if it matters because it's a whip and chat, it's pre-recorded, it's not live or anything else, so I don't know if timing really matters. I had been releasing it at midnight my time to get, I think, first thing in the morning in the States, but I think that was getting it too early for Pacific Standard Time, so I pulled it back to, the last few videos went out at 3 AM. Yeah, I do know, I have a few people who follow me from Australia. I don't know that YouTube is a big thing here, although I was chatting with somebody this week, and they said that they run what they call a gaming channel, and that gaming channel, so you're playing the game and then people can come and chat with you, and it's about suicidality, so they will chat with people who are not okay at that particular time, so they will talk and they will counsel and everything else. And these guys are not trained, they've just gone through it themselves, and this is just something that they do. And I was just chatting and kind of, they were mentioning things like Twitch, and the guy who was chatting with them is going, what? And I'm kind of going, oh, it's a streaming thing, blah blah blah, and this guy's looking at me kind of going, what the hell are you? And I said, oh, I'm a YouTuber, and you know, I said it really quietly, so my friend actually didn't hear. But I said, like, I'm a YouTuber, I know what you're talking about. And it was just like, yeah, YouTube is not a big Australian thing. Maybe because we've got the weather and we're out in it. They're not home on the computer and listening. Maybe it's a cultural thing that there's more people kind of at home and you know, watch YouTube more over in the States. I don't know. Don't have many people over here. There's me, there's Fee, there's Koala Crafts, Terry. Fee is Diamond in the Rough, she's in Perth. Koala Crafts is in New South Wales. I keep thinking she's Queensland. There are listeners, Heather in Queensland, Linda, I know you're there, somewhere in Victoria, possibly. So, you know, I'd love to, if you're Aussie, find me an Aussie icon and post that. I would love to figure out how we can connect more of the Aussies. And I know we listen, we don't necessarily do. I'm one of the people who do, but I'm not Aussie from an accent point of view. Sophie, can you get out? No, they're not for you. Not for you. Go, go. Come on, out you go. There is Belinda, who is a colorist. Love listening to her. She is Victorian, I think. So yeah, love listening to my fellow Aussies and being able to talk kind of in stuff that's native without, you know, it's kind of like Rachel when she talks Irish. I'm kind of going, oh, I get you. I really understand you. You're really you're speaking in my same language. So what I want is to hear more Aussies speaking in my Aussie language. So from that point of view, yeah, if you're Aussie, please let me know. Please, please, please. Drop me an emoji. Let me know if there's something in particular you would like me to do. Like, is there something more Aussie you would like? Is there something I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to morph myself into being an American. I want to be me. I want to live my culture and my state being Tasmania and that kind of thing. So I don't know. If you have any ideas, pitch them to me. Details are in the description for messaging. You can private message me on my Facebook. You can private message me on Instagram, or DM me on Instagram, direct message, whatever it is. But you can get in touch with me with some ideas. You know, if there's a project you'd like me to do, if there's a place in Tasmania you want me to go to, we'll do a road trip. You know, he's the driver. I'm just the co-pilot. I'll pack the car and we'll go and record it. I've never been to Cradle Mountain. Cradle Mountain costs a fortune. Costs a fortune to stay there on site, and it's hours to get there because it's kind of tucked into the route in is a, you know, up and around into the belly of the beast kind of thing. And again, hubby doesn't do the hiking and the walking, so he would be probably less thrilled about doing that. And he's certainly more frugal than I am when it comes to expenses. So yeah, he's money conscious, and I have debt that I need to work off. Sorry? He had to. Yes, he had to be. He didn't have a budget for luxuries like that. But he hasn't. We're certainly not rolling in it by any means. We're certainly not struggling either. But he's the sensible hat, and I'm the frivolous spender, or kind of going, can we do something? So yeah. Anyway. Alright. Any ideas? Please help. There is a certain amount that I can do. I don't know, did you watch my couple of drive-along videos that I posted? They're only short little snippets, 5 minutes or something, with some funky music. You know, did that kind of thing interest you? As either as an interstater or as a local? Sorry, as an international as opposed to an interstater. Did that kind of thing interest you? Do drive-alongs interest you? You're probably less likely to get drive-alongs with me here on a, you know, like car vlogs kind of thing. You're less likely to get that kind of stuff from me, because my work is 15 minutes away, and you know, it's just, it's urban traffic and there's people and cars, and it is what it is. It's the same route every day. I don't think that would be a thrill a minute. Maybe once, but certainly not ongoing. Although it's not really about the drive along, it's about it's not necessarily about the route that you take, it's about the chat that you get on the way. I don't know. I don't drive myself in, so it's not like I have to talk in the car to keep myself company. Hubby and I do that, and I do other things in the car as we drive in, like doing the shopping and things like that. So yeah, any hot tips that you would like to see of Tasmania? Do some Googling, if you would like to. One thing I would really like to do is go to one of the wildlife parks, and I would like to video something like that, but haven't actually discussed it with hubby to make it work or to figure out when that's going to happen or anything else. So yeah, that could be a project if people are interested in getting some information. We've got 2 wildlife parks. One has the native wildlife, and one has like tropical. I think they had lions at one point, and things like that. So that could be fun. Sorry?
Only 2.
Yeah, Bonnarong and what's the other one? I can't think of it now. Yeah, local animal parks. There are others further afield. But yeah, local park, because I'll need to talk with the wildlife guide whether or not they'd let me record what they're talking about, because I know they've got like a Tasmanian devil kind of section where the devils kind of run around and that kind of thing. So it'll be really interesting, especially given that we had the bushfires and people are interested in all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that could be something when the weather gets a little bit better. It's only a short kind of walk around some enclosures, really. Like you're talking an hour. It's not a huge zoo or anything else. And as I say, the other one is more tropical animals as opposed to native animals. There is also a sanctuary where they take in all kinds of refuges, but it's more like stray animals rather than natives. Or there's some other people I could talk to. I've got a wildlife carer friend at work. I could see if she would have a chat, maybe formally on video, or record a conversation with her while we're playing with one of her foster pets. Not a pet, but foster babies. She's had all sorts from crows, ravens, currawong, which is a blackbird with these white tips, but it looks like a black raven crow kind of family, things like that. So yeah, they might be a couple of feature things I could look at doing in this amazing little state of ours, before the world falls apart with all the other troubles around. Okay. So there you go, there's future plans. Now I'm definitely going, because I'm way over the time that I was going to do it. Alright, if you have enjoyed my whip and chat and you've actually made it this far, well, good on you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate my friends, my followers, my people who support me by dropping comments in and letting me into bits of their lives. Yeah, I really appreciate that you've trusted me with that kind of thing. You're incredible, you really are. If you are new, please subscribe, please hit the bell, please get notified when I do more whip and chats or more unboxings. I try and do my mail days on Mondays, depending on, I don't get much mail, so that's fine, but I'll do unboxings throughout the week, and I'll do a whip and chat on the middle of the week. Weekends I tend to leave blank because there's so much else going on, and it's just a break for me as well. I tend to do all my pre-recording on the weekend and then edit it for release during the week. So that's just how I work my schedule. While I'm working in the middle of the week, I'm probably too tired to be doing much editing. So I apologize if you think you're getting current stuff. Well, you are getting current stuff, but it's, you know, within the last few days. Yeah, so there we have it. Click like, subscribe, and drop me comments. I will see you around. There is a playlist for the whip and chats. If you would like to catch up with more news around the traps, since I started doing them. I started doing my whip and chats last year with Mrs. Coffee's Last Challenge, Wasn't in a regular time slot or anything else, so this is probably WiPnChat 12 or 13, maybe 14 even. So yeah, not many, and I will try and do more regulars because I enjoy them from other people, so I think hopefully you will enjoy them too. So I am going to let you go. This has been long enough. I've got nowhere near finished, but I'm just going to keep beetling on. Miss Coffee is live, and I'm going to go listen to her and see what's happening with the rest of the folk in the YouTube land. So bye for now. See you soon.